5 Premiership teams fell at this stage of last season's Coca-Cola Cup, and you're looking at one of them. Mind you, that defeat by Stoke City was no more than Chelsea fans have come to half expect. 11 times in the last 10 seasons they've gone out of a cup competition to a team from a lower division. So what other encouragement is there for Blackpool? Currently 10th in Division 2, they've won more games than they've lost this season. And just last year, striker Andy Priest played in the Coca-Cola semi-finals for Crystal Palace. He partners skipper Tony Ellis in an attack which is due a goal or two. Chelsea still unbeaten this season, and not quite as star-studded as usual tonight because of injury problems. Gianluca Vialli is out, Frank Leboeuf only a sub, no Myers or Johnson either. So chances for the likes of Michael Dubry, David Lee, Jody Morris and John Spencer. Roger Dilks is the referee. Yellow cards in this season's Coca-Cola Cup count towards suspensions only from the Coca-Cola Cup. 3 bookings and you miss a tie. The seaside place, famous for fresh air in front, so goes the verse about Blackpool. Well, the air is very, very fresh tonight. There's a wild wind whipping in off the Irish Sea, and I don't think it's going to be much fun to play in. Number 10 is the Blackpool captain, Tony Ellis. This is Mickey Mellon. Put out by Steve Clark, who's having to fill in at left back this evening. Andy Priest. Quinn trying to sneak in. Tidied up by Petrescu. Only as far as Bonner. Wise in the way. Now Bryant. Bonner has 4 into forward inside the box. Here's one of them, Priest. Oh, he almost managed to turn away from Lee. Forced into the path of Dixon, and the shot's in! Dream start for Blackpool. They've scored inside a minute. They just wouldn't let go. And James Quinn, the young Northern Ireland international, fired in the opening goal inside of 60 seconds. Chelsea just couldn't get it clear. Lee had his hands full with Priest. Dixon, well, there was a big handball shout there with some justification. But although Dixon missed out, Quinn didn't. And somewhat controversially, Blackpool take an instant lead. Petrescu, and by Spencer. And here's Morris, and the flag is already raised. I just wonder if Petrescu had been allowed to gather the return pass, whether he would have been flagged. I suppose Morris was rather too close to the action to be ignored either way. He only just had a leg beyond the last defender, if that. Di Matteo, the last man. Burley. Di Matteo. Spencer. Di Matteo through to Morris this time. Beautiful pass. Beautiful goal. Chelsea on terms with 16 minutes played. A touch of class from Roberto Di Matteo. And then for Jody Morris, the glory of his first senior goal for the club. Beautifully created for him by the Italian. He finished off with great assurance by a young man of just 17 years of age. Early. Di Matteo. Wise. Di Matteo. And now Petrescu. Chipped in towards Hughes, who tried the overhead. Burley placed just behind him. It was well placed for rather more straightforward effort and goal, maybe. Hughes wasn't to know and couldn't resist anyway. Hasn't scored this season as yet. Priest. Ellis is offside. Will count. Threat is still there. Pass just delayed a second too long. Burley, Hughes, yelling at Spencer out on the right-hand side. Ruud Gullit unhappy about something. This was the moment when Andy Priest appeared almost to gather the ball up onto his chest with his hands. Rolled it over his body before feeding Quinn to score the goal. I don't think he quite knew exactly what he was doing, but he was certainly a shade fortunate to escape being penalised. Blackpool made the most of their early moment. Chelsea have been able to peg them back since. Here's a chance for Priest, though. Good stop by Kevin Hitchcock. Less than impressed by the cover that he got. Slipped through by Bonner. Blackpool are still creating openings. All three of the Blackpool centre-backs are forward for Andy Priest's corner. Cleared by Hughes and then by Morris. Headed forward by Bonner. Ooh, the volley against the crossbar by Quinn, but the flag was already raised. He was in an offside position. It's Tony Butler who managed to force the ball on there, and Quinn tried to regain an onside position and almost did. Butler. Mellon. Bonner. Forced away by Clark. It's a Blackpool throw. Quinn to Ellis. Challenged by Clark, and this time it's a corner. Clark's been around with Chelsea long enough to remember some of their defeats in this competition against the likes of Reading and Scunthorpe and Skara and Tranmere. He knows what can happen. Rabbids there, seemed to be held by Hughes. Chelsea got away with that. Gary Brabbins' run towards the ball seemed to be impeded by Mark Hughes. See, Brabbin had just got in front of Hughes there, and I think he was leaving to the ground. Roger Dilks probably just following the course of the ball as it came across. Ledigan picking out Priest. Squeezed into Ellis. Now Dixon. Petrescu refused to be committed. Bendix just couldn't quite get beyond him. More encouragement in the shape of another Blackpool corner. Andy Priest to take. Header from Brabin! And a thumping header it was too from Gary Brabin. There's something about his whole approach and attitude to the game. When he wants something badly enough, he generally gets it. There were 4 went for that ball in the aerial challenge, but Brabin was head and shoulders above the other 3. The game has a really good ebb and flow about it. Petrescu on by Spencer. Petrescu, he seemed to control it well, and then he wasn't caught by Butler. You wonder why he went down, because he seemed to have wrong-footed the defender. Clearly felt he got a bang on the, well, did get a bang on the knee. Thought he was going to get a little bit more, I think. Spencer with the crafty pass again. Petrescu whipped it away, and then felt he had his leg whipped away by Tony Butler. It's the last action of a half which began with a goal inside of a minute for Blackpool from James Quinn. Bit of a Big Dipper ride for Chelsea on a breezy night in Blackpool, but having survived that first plunge, they managed to steady themselves and find their feet and equalise with a goal beautifully created by Di Matteo for Jody Morgan. An unexpected chance at the start of the second half for 19-year-old Mark Nichols to make his Chelsea debut because of an injury to Steve Clarke. Means more reshuffling for Ruud Gullit because Nichols is an out-and-out goal scorer. Some smoke drifting across the field at the start of the second half from a neighbouring house fire. Blackpool have already beaten Scunthorpe in this season's competition, the first League Cup tie they've won for 3 seasons, when they put out Premier League Sheffield United at this stage. Here they come again, with Mickey Mellon striking in the opening minute of the second half, not quite as effectively as James Quinn did in the first. Generally speaking, Blackpool are better known as cup winners of old than cup fighters of late. Handball. Brabin conceding the free kick. Wise takes, Hughes is there. It almost came for Spencer. He was on him before he knew it. It was an anxious moment for Steve Banks. Corner kick has been given. Spencer running in towards the near post, more out of hope than expectation came to him off Gary Brabin. Sorry, you know. Here's Petrescu. And still. And Chelsea in front through Dan Petrescu. And it's their turn to score at the start of the half. Took almost 2 minutes this time. Dan Petrescu's first of the season from the short corner. I think he was looking to get rid of it, having made this initial little shuffle into space. Wondering who might be in support, then thought, to heck with it. Drove it through the crowd into the corner of the net. And for the first time in the tie, Chelsea are in front. First goal since the FA Cup quarter-final at Wimbledon in March for Dan Petrescu. Burley. Morris. Spencer. Brabin to Blackpool. Still come for Ellis. Flag raised eventually. That's a lovely ball from Wise. Nichols. And Hughes! A marvellous third goal for Chelsea. Mark Hughes, first of the season. And set up for him by the teenage debutant Mark Nichols. Well, it's been 7 games in coming. But Hughes did well to find space in front of the marking player, Tony Butler, there. When Nichols' cross came, it was leathered into the top corner by Hughes. League Cup winner, of course, in his Manchester United days. And he's put Chelsea in a very dominant position in this tie now. Hughes. Pass perfectly bisected Morris and Burley. Priest. Quinn. Away by Dubry. Dixon first of all. A bit isolated out there, Ben Dixon. Now he's got support from Bonner and from Linnigan. Wise seeing off Bonner. Hughes against Butler now, and Mark Hughes is breaking clear, and he was very clearly dragged down there by Tony Butler. And there were no more defenders beyond the Blackpool number 4, and it's a second yellow card anyway, and Butler leads the field with 18 minutes still to play. He must have known what was coming. Just yanked Hughes back. It's arguable as to whether or not that was a red card offence in itself, but he was definitely shown a second yellow. It all adds up to the same thing, I suppose. Butler won't be playing at Stamford Bridge in the return leg. Morris. Spencer! Oh, it's a lovely goal from John Spencer. Chelsea lead by 4 goals to 1, and individually, that may be the pick of the bunch. Put a smile on his face. He appreciates skill, and there was so much skill involved in that curling, controlled finish from John Spencer. Looking to shake and rattle Chelsea. Priest with a header from Quinn's cross. They played with spirit. Having weathered that early shock, Chelsea have been able to settle the game down and played pretty much the way they've wanted to for the most part. There's little pockets of resistance such as that one. Here's Priest. Mellon, Quinn, Ellis. Hung up for Andy Priest. They all left it for each other. And Craig Burley. They're pretty unattractive but pretty effective clearance. They've always had enough at the other end of the field to survive them. Priest takes, Lydiard arriving. And nobody made contact with the ball, Brabin neither. Chelsea, who are back in this part of the world on Saturday, play Liverpool. Here's Dennis Wise with a chance to make it 5 for them. Everybody stumbled. Wise still going. Hughes will he? No! Oh dear. Well, between them, the two famous internationals made a bit of a mess of that. Mark Hughes has had almost as many wonderful moments in his career as his manager. That was not one of them. Deflection helped Wise to what seemed an open goal. In fairness to him, he just lost his footing. Mark Hughes just lost his bearings. Not to anyone. If you do come across him in the next couple of days, I suggest you perhaps leave that out of the conversation. Maybe mention his goal. Priest, still a chance for Ellis. Well, 10 goals in 10 games for Blackpool this season probably says a lot about them. They've had opportunities to add to that effort in the opening minute. They haven't taken them. Missed any quite as clear cut as that one, which came Hughes' way. Oh dear. What Hughes would like to do. An amusing postscript to a happy ending for Ruud Gullit and company. James Quinn of Blackpool certainly turned the illuminations on here in the first minute by scoring for the second division team. But once they'd steadied themselves, Chelsea, with some fine goals from Hughes and Spencer in particular, adorned the evening with their class and take a clear lead back to Stamford Bridge for the second leg. Winners at Bloomfield Road by 4 goals to 1.
It's always difficult to come to places like this against teams like that, because you have everything to lose, and that's why I'm pleased with the result.
It was like an alarm call for your players, yes?
Yeah, I think that when they scored the first goal, they were tuned in better after that. Passed the ball well, and then we played our game, and then it was much easier.
Was there a period when you were a little concerned that things might not go the way you hoped tonight?
No, I wasn't concerned, because also the goal they scored was very, very early in the game, and that gives you enough, plenty of time to do something about it. And after that, I saw the team also better. They played better, and I was very pleased for Jody Morris that he scored a goal.
There were some good goals in the game. Both Mark Hughes and John Spencer scored good goals in the second half.
Yeah, I was especially pleased again about Mark Hughes. All the time we have to say to keep calm, because referees don't defend him. All today, same thing happened. They kick him. It happens a lot of things, and he has to stay calm. And all the time we have to say something. Stay calm. You will be rewarded for it, and that's why we were also happy about this goal.
Well, the goal was very nice, because I've waited a few games for it this season, so to break my duck was nice. But
good goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a good move down the right, and it was cut back, and I got a good strike on it, which is more can be said than for the one I missed.